Good afternoon, Long Beach community. It's Wednesday, May 6th, and I'm here with some announcements and some messages for you as part of our community. I want to continue to extend appreciation to our teachers during this Teacher Appreciation Week. And I also want to acknowledge that today is National Nurses Day. And so to all of our nurses who are serving in different ways during our closure and for their everyday service to families, we appreciate you so much and we are glad to celebrate you today. In thinking about teacher appreciation, something I went to and I found online to read about was just returning to this idea about relationships and our interconnectedness. And so I just want to read a little excerpt of something that I found that really made me think about the power of our teachers. Everybody needs to be seen, to be witnessed, everybody. And it's a healthy need. It means we desire connection to others, and the relationship and energy shared between us matters. Age doesn't matter. Babies, toddlers, school kids. Look, Ma, no hands. Tweens, teens, adults, elders, we all need someone to bear witness to our struggles, to our accomplishments, to the magic of our lives. If we are blessed, we find such witness in our most intimate relations, our partner, parents, siblings. For the large majority of us, it takes attention and work towards cultivating relationships with others that provide the reflection we so crave. Ideally speaking, relationships provide us a mirror. Through our interconnectedness with others, we see ourselves reflected back. When I think about appreciating teachers this week, I think about that power of reflection that they provide for our students and the interconnectedness that is so important, especially during a crisis. And so I have a couple of stories to share that just highlight some of our teacher actions and the interconnectedness of what we experience in the Long Beach community. You have heard many of us talk about things like relationship-centered schools that are partners with Californians for Justice, support in several of our high schools. We talk about restorative practices and restorative justice as a way to build that interconnectedness and relationship. And lastly, just this idea of warm, demanding relationships where we're holding each other to high expectations, but also in a very caring place. And so as I think about these next weeks in school, I'm just centering around the need for continued relationship with a focus on support for one another and that interconnectedness. I would love to read just an excerpt from something one of our students said about her teacher. Lily Ayala, a student at Cabrillo High School, shares about interconnectedness and the power of one of her teachers, Ms. Montooth. She says, in part of a description of her teacher, I feel like I can always talk to you about any help I need regarding school or my personal life. When I walk into your classroom or see you in the hall, you always make me feel like I belong here. Thank you for caring about students and doing anything you can to help us. I appreciate you. Out of the mouth of a student about one of our teachers at Cabrillo High School. I also want to share a story that was shared with me as follow-up to a challenge that I left with you as the community, to reach out to a teacher who has had an impact on your life if you haven't done so recently. That challenge was to students and it was also to adults. So many of you know my colleague, Ruth Ashley. What a beautiful story that she reached out to one of her middle school teachers who was a music teacher, who is 97 years old, Mrs. Harding, who had an impact on her life. And she was able to thank her and tell her how much she meant to her as a teacher. So I challenge you again, if you haven't done it yet, reach out to a teacher, a current or a past teacher, and let them know how your relationship, how their care, and that interconnectedness with them has helped you in your life. So I'll close with a shout out to one of our students. I'm always looking for ways to highlight the amazingness of our students. And I found another example, there are many out there, but another example in Sydney Sheets, a Millikan High School senior, who has created more than 200 face coverings for essential workers and people in need in the community. We celebrate our students, we thank our teachers, and on this National Nurses Day, thank you to our nurses for just everything that you do. And I'll close today with one reminder or one shout out to tell you that on Friday, I'll have an informational video with some points that will be a little bit different than I've done the last couple of weeks to provide you with some close of school information and some useful information for the months to come in summer. So I look forward to seeing you virtually on Friday. And in the meantime, celebrate a teacher, and I'll see you soon.